When morning brushed the curtains with a quiet golden glow, we lay there breathing softly with a peace we didn't know. The storms we walked through slowly now felt distant, soft and small, and the weight of every struggle had grown lighter after all. Your fingers traced my heartbeat like a story understood, a gentle kind of promise that our ending would be good. And as the sunlight warmed the room, I saw us both unite, two souls becoming something after walking through the light. And I realized in that stillness, as your warmth held on to mine, that everything we weathered led us here by design. And this is what we became after the light. We talked about the shadows we once carried in our chests, about the quiet battles where we never felt our best. You said the hardest part was learning how to let me see all the corners of your stories that you feared would change me. I told you that your softness was the thing that pulled me near, not perfection, not the strength, but the trembling of your fear. And in that shared admission, something in us took its flight toward the truth of who we shaped after stepping through the light. The lines we now embrace, and this is what we became after the light. Two shadows merging into one soft sight, two voices learning how to reunite, two broken maps becoming right. Tender I used to think that sunlight lived in places far away, in cities bathed in gold, or in the first breath of the day. I thought warmth was just a season, or the glow of something new. But then the world grew softer when I found the warmth in you. You held me when my shadows felt too heavy on my skin, and the quiet in your presence let the healing edges begin. It wasn't grand or loud or bright, but steady, pure and true. The kind of glow that lives inside the warmest part of you. And I learned that love is gentle, not a fire but a flame, a steady light that never fades, a whisper of my name. You are the warmest part of you, a place my heart keeps running to, where every sorrow melts away, where broken pieces learn to stay. In every breath, in every view, I found my calm when I found you. You are the warmest part of you, and now you're warm to me too. You held me through the moments when my chest was caving in, when the weight of past tomorrows made my present feel too thin. You didn't rush my healing, didn't hide from what was true. You simply stayed beside me with the warmth that lives in you. And in your quiet kindness, in your laughter soft and small, I learned how love feels stronger when it doesn't try at all. You showed me I was worthy even when I never knew, pulling light from hidden corners with the warmest part of you. Funny how a gentle hand can soft and still. When the quiet touched the morning like a whisper on a hill, you were sitting by the window with the sunlight in your hair, and the glow that wrapped around you made a warmth I couldn't spare. You turned to me so gently with a smile that felt like peace, and something deep inside me found a place it could release. I didn't need a map or sign, no compass, no disguise. I knew I found my shelter in the home inside your eyes. And the truth came soft and certain like a breeze through open doors, a feeling I'd been seeking through 1,000 storms before. You're the home I found in your eyes, where every fear just softly dies, a place where all the shadows fade, where all my broken parts are laid. I didn't know that love could rise so warm beneath familiar skies, but you're the home I found in your eyes, my heart's most gentle prize. I'd wandered through my seasons with a heart unsure of rest, always searching for a harbor where my pulse could calm its quest. I'd carried every memory like a suitcase filled with doubt, never knowing where to lay them or the way to breathe them out. But when you looked upon me with a tenderness so true, the years of running softened like the sky when turning blue. For in that steady gaze of yours, my soul felt realized, a place I'd long been missing, the home I found in your eyes. Funny how a single moment holds more truth than endless miles, how a look can be a refuge when it carries quiet smiles. You're the home I found in your eyes, where every storm just leaves the skies, where worry melts like winter snow, where I feel safe enough to grow. Your gaze became my warm reprise, my shelter and my lullabies. You're the home I found in your eyes, where all my longing lies. Maybe home is not a place, not a roof or time or space. Maybe it's the steady grace in someone's quiet view. Maybe home is in the stare, in the way they make you care, in the warmth that lingers there when they're simply loving you. You're the home I found in your eyes, my calm, my truth, my sweet surprise, where every road I've walked before stopped hurting when I touched your door. You're the place my heart relies, where all the world feels harmonized. You're the home I found in your eyes, where forever softly lies. If it had a soft voice, if forever had a soft voice, if forever had a soft voice, if forever had your palm. The night was calm and open as we walked beneath the stars, and the quiet held us gently like a lantern in the dark. Your hand was laced in mine with an ease that felt divine, and the rhythm of our footsteps fell in perfect gentle time. You looked at me and whispered something tender, something slight, something sweet that drifted softly through the velvet of the night. It wasn't loud or certain, but it wrapped my heart with joy. It's like hearing what love sounds like. If forever had a voice, and I held the words so tightly, like a promise meant to stay, a little vow of comfort in a softly spoken way. If forever had a soft voice, it'd sound a lot like you, gentle as a midnight breeze, warm as morning dew. It wouldn't shout or overwhelm, just lead my heart through calm. If forever had a soft voice, it'd echo in your palm. We paused beneath a willow where the branches brushed the air, and your silhouette was glowing like a dream I couldn't dare. You told me love was something that you learned in quiet parts, that forever wasn't thunder, it was built in humble hearts. You said you didn't know the future, but you knew the way I felt, and the truth within your whisper made my guarded edges melt. Your words were barely spoken, yet they made my soul rejoice, like hearing what hope sounds like. If forever had a voice, funny how the softest speaking holds the meaning's loudest known, how forever isn't shouted, but in whispers gently sown. If forever had a soft voice, it'd murmur through the night, a melody of patience wrapped in golden candlelight. It'd soothe the fears, erase the noise, and make my heart through poise. If forever had a soft voice, it'd sound like your quiet joy. That the heart can understand, in the words that float like feathers when they slip from trembling hands. Maybe forever isn't distant, maybe it begins right here, in the gentle, tender moments where a voice relieves our fear. If forever had a soft voice, it would be the way you speak, with warmth that fills the spaces where my doubts grow small and weak. It wouldn't need to raise itself or make a mighty noise. If forever had a soft voice, it's you in every choice. And now when nights fall quiet, I still hear it in the void. Your whisper wrapped around me. If forever had a voice. The sun was sinking softly as we wandered down the lane, and the quiet of the evening wrapped around us like a frame. Your hand was warm in mine, a gentle anchor in the light, and the world felt made of amber as the day turned into night. Behind us on the pavement there were silhouettes that swayed to shadows. affection rose. Our shadows leaning close, enchanted everything below. Maybe love is in the spaces, found in silhouettes and traces, in the way the shadows meet, where the road and sunset greet. Maybe hearts learn how to touch before our hands do very much, in the gentle way the night leans our shadows toward the light. Our shadows leaning close as dusk became our gentle host. Every step a quiet toast to everything we cherish most. I knew right then, more than most, in that golden fading ghost. Our shadows leaning close were telling us, and still in every sunset I remember how it shows. The night our hearts were mirrored in our shadows, leaning close. Leaning close. You never said it loudly, never tried to make a scene, but in the hush of every moment you were steady, warm and keen. You'd fix my crooked collar when you thought I didn't see, and leave a little note behind you saying come back home to me. You'd pour the morning coffee while the sunlight brushed the floor, and wait to see me waking like a moment worth a chore. Your love was never grand, it never aimed for victory. It bloomed inside the quiet and the ways you cared for me. And I didn't always notice how your tenderness would show, but looking back I feel it in the places love can grow. All the quiet ways you love me, soft as rivers, warm as tea, gentle hands and whispered care, moments soft as midnight air. I didn't know how deep they'd be. All the quiet ways you love me, pain and warmth so tenderly, in corners I forgot to see. You'd hold my worried questions like a feather in your palm, and calm the restless storms inside me with a voice so still and calm. You tuck your head upon my shoulder in the middle of a song, and sway with me in silence like the night could do no wrong. When I felt I wasn't worthy, when my fears were running wild, you'd brush them off my edges with the softness of a child. Your love was not in thunder or the skies you'd rearrange. It lived inside the little things that never tried to change. Funny how the smallest gestures hold the biggest part of truth. How the gentleness of loving shapes the heart it's given to. All the quiet ways you love me, steady, patient, endlessly, in the way you touch my sleeve, in the sigh you let me breathe, every soft delivery. All the quiet ways you love me, lifted fears I couldn't free, wove your warmth into my seams. Maybe love is in the whispers, not the shouts or grand displays, in the glance you hold a moment, hand that gently stays. Maybe hearts are slowly built from all the little things we do, like every quiet act of love you stitched between us two. All the quiet ways you loved me, soft and deep as memory, in the touches you didn't name, in the light you softly framed. Looking back, it's clear to see how your quiet shaped my destiny. All the quiet ways you loved me made me who I came to be, and now I hold them closely. Every gentle silent plea, all the quiet ways you loved me. Again. The sun was sinking softly as the sky began to fade, and the quiet of the evening wrapped around the promenade. I was sitting on the doorstep where the golden hour died, watching shadows bend like memories drifting from the tide. I had almost given up on hearing footsteps down the street, almost told myself the distance was a story of defeat. But then I heard your voice, soft as the dusk had been, whispering through twilight like the breath of evening wind. And I turned to find you standing with a fragile, hopeful look, like you'd walk through miles of silence just to rewrite what fear once took. You came back with the evening wind, softest places we've both been. With every step the world grew warm, like dusk unravel in a storm. You carried truths you'd kept within, lay them where the light grew thin. You came back with the evening wind, letting love begin again. Your eyes were full of stories you had never dared to speak, and your voice was like a river flowing gentle, low and meek. You said you'd wander through your worries till the wind had cleared your mind, and the thought of us kept calling like a lighthouse left behind. I reached for you in silence as the shadows hugged your frame, and the tremble in your fingers whispered softly through my name. The hurt began to loosen where forgiveness had been pinned, all because you found your way back through the evening wind. Funny how a single moment can restore what once felt broken, how a breath of twilight air can return what went unspoken. You came back with the evening wind, carrying the where do I begin. Every fear you used to hide found a place to gently slide, and in the dusk our hearts rescind. Every tear we disciplined, you came back with the evening wind, falling softly back within. Maybe love returns in whispers, not in thunder, not in cries, in the way the evening listens when the truth breaks through disguise. Maybe healing walks beside us, hand in hand with soft regret, till the wind becomes a witness to the love we can't forget. You came back with the evening wind, like a long-lost gentle hymn. With every step you took toward me, the night turned bright enough to see. And though the day was wearing thin, our story learned to breathe again. You came back with the evening wind, and I let your heart back in. Now every dust that touches skin reminds me where we did begin. The night you came with the evening wind. We sat beneath the morning where the sky was turning rose, and the world felt soft and quiet in the way a healing grows. You were holding on to silence like a thread you couldn't keep, but the tremble in your voice said you were tired of falling deep. I reached across the table, placed my hand upon your own, and the fragile way you breathed told me you'd felt far too alone. Still in that gentle moment, something opened from within, a place where hearts remember how to speak their truths again. There was no loud revelation, no confession etched in stone, just a soft return to honesty in the warmth we'd always known. This is where our hearts learn to speak again, where wounds became a softer friend. We trusted all the hurt inside to meet the light we tried to hide. Slow but steady, breath by breath, we found our way through fear and death. This is where our hearts learn to speak again, letting go of what had been. You said you feared the breaking more than learning how to stay, that your past had taught you shadows in a deeply tender way. I told you love was patient, that the quiet didn't scare, that healing isn't perfect, but it grows when someone cares. You looked at me with teardrops clinging soft upon your lashes, and your voice was like a candle flickering through midnight's ashes. You whispered that you're trying, fighting hope we'd lost back then. This is where our hearts learn to speak again, where courage learned to bloom. Maybe healing takes its time. Maybe love is not a straight line. Maybe we are made of pages written through our tender ages. And maybe hearts that break, rebuild, are the ones most gently filled with the truth that's meant to stay. When the lost parts find their way, this is where our hearts learn to speak again, where your voice became my wind, where your trembling truths and mine found a way to realign. Hand in hand we faced the then, saw the light through what had been. Ooh. This is where our hearts learn to speak again, where love began to mend. And I remember clearly when, in that golden quiet glen, we found a place our hearts could speak again. You left my place that morning when the sky was waking slow, and the sunlight hit the doorway in a soft and golden glow. Your laughter lingered quietly like perfume in the air, and the sweater you had borrowed still hung gently on the chair. I picked it up in silence like a moment I could hold, still warm from where you wore it when the night outside was cold. And suddenly the quiet felt a little bit too tender, all because I felt your warmth left behind upon my sweater. Funny how a piece of fabric can become a souvenir of a night of gentle comfort and the closeness we hold dear. Warmth you left on my sweater, soft as memory, soft as weather, every thread still holding you, every breath a quiet truth. Nothing ever felt so tender. Warmth you left upon my sweater, saying things you couldn't render into words you never knew. I sat upon the sofa where you rested half asleep, where your head leaned on my shoulder and your breathing fell in deep. Your softness filled the evening like a candle glowing low, till the steady hum of midnight wrapped its song around us slow. Now the room feels bigger somehow, though nothing's moved at all. It's just missing all the warmth you left along my skin and soul. And though you only stepped outside, the memories pull me tethered back to how your body warmed, the sweater you wore tethered in small and quiet places, in the warmth left on a sleeve, in the way you softly leave. Maybe hearts are held forever by the little things they treasure, like a touch still breathing through fabric woven close to you. Warmth you left on my sweater couldn't fade with shifting weather. Every thread still calls your name, every stitch still holds the flame. And I know I should forget, but love lingers like a debt. Warmth you left upon my sweater feels like you're still here again. So I fold it on the table till the next time we're together, till your warmth comes back to rest upon my sweater. We sat across the table with the night pulled overhead, and the quiet turned to honesty we hadn't meant to spread. Your hands were slightly shaking as you traced the wooden grain, like you were drawing out the memories buried deep inside your pain. I felt the tension rising in the corner of your side, a truth you didn't want to share reflected quietly in your eye. And in that simple stillness where the truth began to peel, we both began confronting the things we tried not to feel. And I watched your walls unravel in the softness of the room, where the shadows stopped pretending they were nothing but the gloom. We tried not to feel, the hurt we kept behind the seal. We let them surface soft and real in the warmth of something true. The fears we couldn't help but hide, the trembling we held inside, the things we tried not to feel came falling into view. You felt unworthy of a love that held you softly, that the ghost you carried with you made you harder to hold properly. You said you feared the breaking more than ever knowing light, and the thought of being cherished made your heartbeat fill with fright. I told you I'd stay patient, that the storms were safe to share, that the pieces you kept fragile were the ones I'd handle with care. Doubts were trembling with the weight you couldn't steal, we held each other steady through the things we tried not to feel. Funny how the quiet truth arrives when hearts are tired, how the feelings buried deepest rise when love is quieting inspired. Things we tried not to feel, the wounds we hoped would never heal, we faced them slowly with appeal, as tenderness pushed through. And every tear you tried to hide, every fear you kept inside, the things we tried not to feel found room to be renewed. Love is made of courage, not perfection, not control, but of holding all the shadows that reside inside a soul. Maybe healing isn't pretty, maybe truth we learn to breathe together when we face our everything. The things we tried not to feel, the aching truths we kept concealed, we brought them gently into the light and held them softly through the night. No more hiding, no more shield, just open hearts and wounds revealed. The things we tried not to feel, in every trembling quiet ordeal, we grew much closer, dearer, through the things we tried not to feel. The sky had turned to silver, like the world forgot its blue, and the air was heavy, trembling with the thought of losing you. We were walking through the stillness, hearts too quiet to pretend, and I felt you slipping softly, like a fading distance. Your eyes were somewhere far away, on thoughts you wouldn't share, lost inside a storm of worries only you knew how to bear. And though you you in the clouds, when I almost lost you, I was serving so gently, like the sky could pull you in, and pray the fragile moment wouldn't break where we begin. When I almost lost you in the clouds, when your heart fell wrapped in doubt, I saw the storm behind your eyes, heard the thunder in your sighs, and though you tried to turn around, you felt miles above the ground. When I almost lost you in the clouds, I was terrified of coming down. You said you felt too heavy for a love this soft and kind, like your past was painted shadows. You were sure I wouldn't mind, but I saw how deeply shaken all your quiet fears became, in the trembling of your voice, in the soft way you said my name. I wanted you to see yourself the way the sunlight did, but the clouds had wrapped around you, hiding pieces that you hid. And though I tried to hold you close, your heart kept drifting round, like a fragile balloon floating, almost lost among the clouds. Funny how the ones we cherish whisper fears the loudest nights, how the people who feel undeserving hold the heaviest inner fights. When I almost lost you in the clouds, when your mind was filled with doubt, I reached for you through the haze, through your storms and through your maze. sometimes loud in their fear of being found, but I won't let you float away, not up there inside the clouds. When I almost lost you in the clouds, I called your name until you found a little spark that led you back through the white and through the black. And when you touched the solid ground, I held you close without a sound. When I almost lost you in the clouds, I learned love fights till souls are found. Now whenever skies turn silver and your quiet fears resound, I remember how it felt to almost lose you in the clouds. In the clouds. It was late in the evening when the quiet felt too loud, shadows stretching on the walls like thoughts we never said out loud. We were sitting by the window with the night against the glass, and the softness of the moment felt too fragile to surpass. You were staring at your hands like they were holding something thin, something delicate and breaking, something trembling within. And the space between our breathing felt like something come undone, a tremble in the silence like a truth we'd both outrun. And I could feel your heartbeat in the stillness of the room, a quiet kind of thunder hiding underneath the gloom, a tremble in the silence between us, like a fragile kind of trust. Not a word, not a sigh, just a fear you couldn't hide, something shifting in the dust, something aching, something just, a tremble in the silence between us, where our hearts forgot to lie. You said nothing for a moment, but your breathing shook the air, and I saw the weight you carried in the softness of your stare. All the letters left unsent were still lingering in your eyes, hidden hurts you never voiced, quiet storms you used to hide. I wanted to reach out to touch your trembling fingertips, but the stillness felt so fragile at the edge of your unspoken slips. And though you didn't speak a word, I heard everything you meant, all the things we kept unspoken, all the feelings left unspent. Funny how the quiet moments turn the loudest in our chest, how the things we never mentioned still refuse to let us rest. A tremble in the silence between us, like a truth we fear to trust, something tender, something raw, something pulling at the flaw. Not the words but just the hush made my heartbeat start to rush. A tremble in the silence between us, where we saw what we both saw. unfolded with a softness like they held a part of thee. Little notes you wrote in evenings when your thoughts were growing loud. Words you never meant to share, feelings wrapped beneath a shroud. Dates and lines and quiet moments you were too afraid to speak. Pages trembling with a longing you had hidden for a week. Every line was filled with echoes of the things you tried to mend. Letters written to your heart, letters you did not intend. And I felt the room grow warmer as I touched the ink you wrote. Like the truth you never voiced had finally found a note. Letters you never meant to send, confessions written without end. All the feelings that you hid in the spaces where you lived. Every tear you wouldn't lend, every thought you couldn't bend. Letters you never meant to send, yet somehow love they still transcended. One was dated on a Sunday when you said you felt unsure. Said your heart was soft and frightened, longing quietly for cure. One was written late at midnight where you feared you'd fall too fast. Worried love would leave you empty like the shadows of your past. And another, oh I felt it like a tremble in my hand. How you wrote that I felt different, like a place your soul could land. Every line was like a window into places you defend. Places cracked and gently healing in the letters you'd unpenned. Funny how a hidden sorrow tells a truth the mouth won't dare. How a page can hold the softness of a love too shy to share. Letters you never meant to send, words you wrote but wouldn't send. Hidden hopes you didn't trust, soft confessions turned to dust. But I read them end to end, every break and every mend. Letters you never meant to send, and yet they let me love you again. Maybe hearts write what they're scared to speak. Maybe ink is where the fragile seek a place to breathe, a place to hide, a place where tears can safely slide. And maybe love is understanding all the storms you never show, in the letters left unwritten, in the truth you didn't know. Letters you never meant to send, but still they reach me in the end. Every line a fragile start, every word a trembling heart. I held them like a sacred friend, gentle stories without end. Letters you never meant to send, but somehow love they led me in. Now I see the you within, the softer truth beneath the pen. In notes you never meant to send, I learned how deeply you let me in. It was somewhere in the quiet, long after the golden light, when the world had gone to whispers and the evening turned to night. You were leaning on my shoulder, breathing soft and slow and true. And I felt a kind of safety I had never known with you. There was nothing loud or sudden, nothing pushing us to rush, just the softest kind of comfort in the places love first blush. And I realized in that stillness, like a truth This was love that didn't tremble. This was love that held me well. I had known 1,000 echoes of the kind that break apart. On my arm with half a grin, something small, something tender, like you didn't know you'd win. And in your touch I felt a promise. You were too shy to speak. A soft devotion forming where my guarded parts felt weak. Didn't ask for pieces I had buried out of sight. Didn't rush the blooming petals of the hurt I used to fight. You just stayed warm as morning, patient as the coming dawn. And my heart began to trust you in a way that felt long gone. Funny how the quiet moments hold the truths we never planned. How a gentle, steady presence teaches hearts to stays gentle, warm and accidental, soft but monumental, healing in its glow. A peace so elemental, subtle but transcendental, the kind of love that stays gentle everywhere we go. Maybe love is in the softness we have learned to rarely trust, in the hands that hold our stories, without judgment, without dust. Maybe love is built in quiet, not in thunder, not in flame, in the gentle way you whisper that your heart had learned my name. This is the kind of love that stays gentle, soft and sentimental, a whisper truth that's printable on every part of me, a warmth that feels intentional, steady and dependable, the kind of love that stays gentle and lets my tired soul breathe free. And now I know its meaning in every tender incidental. I found my truest healing in a love that stays so gentle. the sun began to dip. Soft cold spilled across your shoulders, catching gently on your lips. The city hung behind us like a soft and distant tune, and every step beside you felt like walking next to June. You brush your fingers toward me in a quiet asking way. Not a word, not a gesture, just a warm unspoken say. And when you slipped your hand in mine, the world became a flower, blooming slow and glowing bright in the fading golden hour. I didn't know a simple moment could feel bigger than the sky, but your touch rewrote my heartbeat when your hand fell into mine. Holding hands in the golden hour, time to soft the world turned flower. Every color leaned in close, every shadow grew composed. I felt love begin its power. Holding hands in the golden hour, quiet truth, the sun power. Holding hands in the golden hour. We stopped beside the water where the ripples held the light. Shades of pink and amber dancing gently into night. You looked at me so softly with a sweetness hard to hide, and the tender way you breathed felt like a promise at my side. The warmth between our fingers felt like stories yet to start, like the golden hours finding every opening in my heart. I knew I'd never be the same, no matter what came after. Not after that soft moment filled with sunset, touch and laughter. Funny how a fading daylight can reveal what love becomes. How a single woven silence feels like where forever hums. Holding hands in the golden hour, when the light felt like a shower, pouring warmth on everything, turning shadows into wings. Every breath felt like a flower, soft and trembling, full of power. Holding hands in the golden hour, the world felt ours to empower. Maybe love is born in colors that the sky forgets to keep. Maybe warmth is shaped in moments where the air is calm and deep. Maybe hearts are made for holding when the day begins to fade. Golden hour stitching stories from the softest touch we made. Holding hands in the golden hour, even time forgot its power. Every heartbeat slowed inside, every fear was pushed aside. I knew love would bloom and tower from that simple tender hour. Holding hands in the golden hour, the moment worlds align. And still when sunsets call me, I feel that evening's gentle power. The day my heart leaned wholly into you, in the golden hour. In the golden hour. It was late in the afternoon when the sunlight changed its mind, painting gold along the pavement like a secret left behind. We were laughing at the little things that never seemed to stay, and your voice was like a melody I couldn't push away. You said your name so softly, like it wasn't meant to mar anything inside my chest, but it flickered like a spark. And though you only spoke it once, it pulled my soul apart. That was the day I learned your name by heart. Funny how a single moment can feel quiet but immense, like the universe grew gentle in the spaces in between. The day I learned your name by heart, the world slowed down, the sky took part. Every letter felt like dawn, a place my scattered thoughts belonged. I knew right then we wouldn't part. The day I learned your name by heart, a fragile truth, a sacred start. The day I learned your name by heart. I repeated it in whispers when you weren't around to hear, like a soft and secret prayer that kept my wandering mind near. Your name lived in my heartbeat like a rhythm growing warm, a little vow the universe was trying to transform. We walked beneath the fading light, your laughter trailing wind, and every step beside you felt like something to begin. You didn't know you'd change me with a sound so small, so smart, but something in me shifted as it echoed in my heart. It wasn't just a syllable, it wasn't just a sound, it was suddenly a promise where my quiet hope was found. The day I learned your name by heart, something glowed in every part of the spaces we were passing, and the moments everlasting. Nothing heavy, nothing sharp, just gentle warmth and soft restart. The day I learned your name by heart, where everything became an art. Maybe love begins in echoes of the softest spoken word. Maybe hearts will build their futures from a name they barely heard. Maybe fate is just the whisper that we carry from the start. Like the day I learned your name by place it left its mark. The day I learned your name by heart. There was something in the way you looked at me that quiet day, like you knew the gentle rhythms of the words I couldn't say. We were walking by the river with the sun low in the sky, and the breeze was soft and careless like a wandering lullaby. You turned toward me slowly, brushing hair out of your face, and your eyes were drawn in sunlight like a painting full of grace. Then you smiled, warm as summer, tender in its slow devotion, and the whole world seemed to solve in a perfect sweet slow motion. I hadn't known a moment get quiet as a prayer, but your smile rewrote my heartbeat when the light hung in the air. Your smile in slow motion, like waves in gentle motion, a soft and sacred ocean pulling me towards you. It broke me wide open, the truth I've never spoken. Your smile in slow motion, oh, that was when I knew. We sat down on a bench where all the leaves began to fall, little flecks of amber drifting like they meant to say it all. I laughed at something small, something I don't remember now, but you watched me like the moment had a meaning to allow. You tilted just a little, and the warmth inside your gaze made the autumn light turn golden in the softest of displays. Your lips curved with a tenderness, a quiet love unspoken, and everything inside me turned to something gently open. Funny how a simple second can undo what once was closed, how a single look can teach you what your heart has always known. Your smile in slow motion, a quiet blooming ocean, a place my heart had hoped in long before we met. The world froze its commotion, time lost its emotion. Your smile in slow motion, a truth I won't forget. Maybe love begins in glances that we barely understand. Maybe fate is just the moment when we choose to take a hand. Maybe healing finds its courage in a tender fleeting sight, like your smile in slow motion, turning shadows into light. Your smile in slow motion, soft as whispered devotion, filled the quiet like an ocean, where my tired heart could rest. Every heartbeat found its notion, every fear lost its potion. Your smile in slow motion, the moment I felt blessed. Now every sunset shows it, every dream still echoes it. Your smile in slow motion, where everything began. The sun was barely waking, stretching softly through the blinds, and the quiet world wrapped around our minds. You were sitting at my table with your fingers on the cup, chasing little circles like I didn't wanna give the moment. The world outside was yawning, but inside everything felt warm enough to bloom like the first light of spring. You smiled without a reason, and the whole room seemed to sing. Honey on a quiet morning, sweetness in a simple thing. And I wondered how a stranger turned so quickly in a home, how a soft and gentle presence made me feel less alone. Oh, honey on a quiet morning, warmth without a warning, the kind of peace you can't explain, the softest whisper in the rain. Every second love was forming, with you here the day adorning. Honey on a quiet morning, calling me without a name. You laughed about the sunrise being crooked through the glass, said it looked like painted gold, just waiting to surpass. Every worry we were holding, every shadow in our chest, like the light was softly telling us we both deserve to rest. Your voice was warm like sugar, melting slow into the day. In the stillness in the kitchen, held the things we couldn't say. We didn't need a promise, didn't need to look away. The sweetness sat between us in the most familiar way. Something in your softness felt like stories yet to tell, like the quiet was an ocean where gentle futures fell. Honey on a quiet morning, golden light adorning, you were sunlight on my skin, where the tenderness begins. Every heartbeat felt like dawning, every word a soft forewarning. Honey on a quiet morning, where I let the warmth sink in. Maybe love shows up in moments when we're barely even trying, when the world is soft and silent and the past is slowly dying. Maybe healing tastes like honey, like a sweetness born of time, like the quiet in your presence where my heart begins to shine. Honey on a quiet morning, where our gentle hearts were forming, and if you took felt light, every glance made day from night. I didn't know where we were going, but somehow I felt the knowing. Honey on a quiet morning, everything just felt so right, and still I hear it calling. The soft beginning, new and warming, a simple day, a soft adorning. Honey on a quiet morning. You walked in gently, like a whisper in the door frame light. Not a sound, not a rush, just a quiet kind of right. After the morning, when the sunlight found us standing close, I kept replaying how your eyes felt softer than a rose. Every step you took that day felt like a careful start, like you knew the is hidden deep inside my heart, and somehow without trying, without meaning to impart, you left soft footsteps walking no card into places torn apart. I wasn't ready for the warmth you carried in your tone. Soft footsteps into my heart. You didn't even know the part you played when you smiled that way, like dawn learning how to stay. I felt the trembling from the start. Soft footsteps into my heart, oh, gently leading me apart from the dark I used to guard. We talked in slow beginnings, like a story finding breath. You laughed a little shyly, like you meant not to confess. I noticed how you tilted just a little when you spoke, how your voice would warm the air like a long forgotten joke. And though I barely knew you, something peaceful pulled me near, a feeling stitched with tenderness, dissolving every fear. I wasn't used to kindness, hadn't trusted it in years, but you stepped so softly that the quiet turned to tears. Something in your presence held a safety warm and true, like my heart was learning slowly how to open back to you. Soft footsteps into my heart, a steady glow replacing dark. You never asked, you never tried, you just showed up by my side. A gentle touch, a careful art. Soft footsteps into my heart, oh, teaching me I wasn't marked by the things that fell apart. Maybe love is just the quiet that we let ourselves believe. Maybe peace is found in moments when we finally choose to breathe. Maybe healing isn't sudden, maybe slow is where it starts, in the tender way you wandered through the corners of my heart. Soft footsteps into my heart, the place I kept behind a guard. You opened windows with your glance, you softened walls with happenstance. I didn't know I'd fall this far when the morning played its part, but you walked in a piece of art. Soft footsteps in my heart, and now I know it from the start. You were meant to light the dark, so stay a little longer. Let the quiet be our spark. I'll remember Found it felt, that's felt half awake. Sunlight drifting like a memory I hadn't learned to take. Coffee cooling in my hands, the world a gentle blur. Then a quiet breeze arrived and somehow carried you with her. You were standing by the doorway like a secret in the dawn, and the sky behind your shoulders felt like something drawn by an artist who believed in softer worlds and tender turns. That was the day I learned how slow a heartbeat burns. And I swear the air grew warmer, like it somehow knew. Everything inside me shifted when I first looked at you. When the light found us first, it wrapped around your face, turning every passing second into some unhurried grace. I didn't know your name, but still it felt rehearsed. The way my heart stepped forward when the light found us first. Oh, the way my heart stepped forward when the light found us first. You smiled in that small way that feels like summer on the skin. Something soft, a little shy, like the start of something thin, as a thread that pulls two strangers into something meant to stay, into something warm and trembling in a simple, quiet way. You said good morning gently, like you didn't want to break the stillness in the space between the sunlight and the ache of something blooming deep inside, unspoken, unrehearsed, a feeling I had never known but want to at first. Funny how a moment small as dust upon the air can open up a life you didn't know was even there. When the light found us first, the world slowed to a sigh, and every thought I ever carried softened passing by. We were only strangers then, but something in me burst, a warm and quiet knowing when the light found us first. Oh, a warm and quiet knowing when the light found us first. Maybe fate arrived in sunlight, maybe love begins in small light, maybe hearts just follow soft light when they're tired of the dark. Maybe all the roads behind me led to where your eyes would find me, standing still enough to notice when you lit a tender spark. When the light found us first, I swear it learned your name, painting halos on your shoulders like the world had changed its frame. And I felt something sacred, something quiet, unrehearsed, a promise whispered softly when the light found us first. Yes, a promise whispered softly.